And like the guitar, how does it produce sound? It produces sound through what? Vibration. And we live in a vibrational universe. Each and every one of us is energy vibrating at different frequencies. We've heard everybody here today talking about energy and how important it is to manage our energy. I really want to support that, because the forefront of the world and the way that we're evolving into, the next revolutionary leap that's going to take place is in the area of energy and vibration. And the truth of the matter is that we're all manifestations of a wonderful field of energy, whether you call it God, life, universe, whatever works for you, insert there. I like to call it the field. And we are plugged into this field of magnificence. We are plugged into this field of unlimited potential. We are plugged into this field of infinite possibilities, infinite health, wealth, productivity, all of the things that we truly seek. We're connected. We're part of it. We've just done a wonderfully elaborate story, created an elaborate story saying something to the contrary. But the fact is we're all made up of this thing called the field. Now, this is all new stuff for me 6 years ago. Jennifer loves to tease me, okay, because I did not come willing in this path, okay? I just want to let you know that. So I'm playing at a wellness center. I don't know how many years ago this is now. It was, very interesting people there. Some of these new agey, remember I'm the corporate guy, the CEO. If it doesn't happen in the left brain, it doesn't happen. Whoops, it's this one, sorry. I got confused. And the fact is, so I go to play at this wellness center, and, it was an interesting crowd. I had a lot of fun playing. And after I'm done playing, the woman that ran the center, she comes up to me, and she's got this look, kind of like this crazed, I can't even... But she goes to me, she goes, I hear tones in your music. And my first thought was, she's going to get weird on me. I can tell, man. I could just tell. I could just tell, because I'm used to this. Go figure, the corporate guy marries a doctor of metaphysics, okay? So, I've seen that look in my wife's eyes before. And that woman had that look. I'm like going, oh, man. And sure enough, she goes, nobody can hear the tones but me. And I'm thinking there, and I'm like going, yeah. I go, you know what? I heard some tones too. Back in the 80s, listening to Pink Floyd, The Wall, hanging with my buddies, watching the lava lamp. I heard some tones, let me tell you. And she goes, no, I'm serious. She goes, let me get a CD from you. She goes, because I want to hook you up with some scientists. And I'm like giving her the CD. Here you go. It was the fastest CD I ever gave away. Like, take the CD, maybe she'll go away, she won't bother me. I go home, completely purge the whole experience out of my mind. About 2 months later, I get a call from Dr. Ronald Jones, nicest guy. Calls me up, hey, we want you to come to this lecture. Bring your guitar. I'm like going, okay, cool, man. Maybe I'm going to play during donut time or something. I don't know. I had no idea what I was in for. And I get there, big group of people, and I'm like going, okay, this is interesting. So they started having this conversation. And they're talking about energy, and they're talking about energy interrupters in our environment and all this stuff. And I'm like kind of going, okay, this is really cool. This is interesting. Well, next thing I know, they get this guy who's 6'5" on stage, buffed, muscular, former football player guy. He's like got no ounce of fat on him, all muscle. And they start demonstrating how things we use every day in our environment are compromising his energy. And that big guy is strong. He's going weak with a cell phone in his energy field. He's going weak holding a laptop computer. He's going weak with a cloth with furniture polish on it. He's going weak with a cup that had gasoline in it at some point in the past. I never seen nothing like it. I'm like going, what the heck is this? Don't overwhelm the corporate guy, okay? It's not a pretty place when that happens. So, but then it really got weird after that, because they go, Mark, come up here. And I'm like kind of walking up, kind of going, okay, bring your guitar, okay? I'm kind of like, all right, and I'm up here, and they got all these people they're doing all this testing with up on stage, and I'm like going, what the heck is this all about? And they go, start playing. So I just start playing a little piece. And then something happened that absolutely blew my mind. Instantly, that guy's energy shifted like that. And I'm like kind of going, okay, what is that? Where he's going weak with a cell phone, all of a sudden he's not going weak anymore. And I'm like going, okay, and they're doing all these other tests. They had people who couldn't reach their toes, bending over, okay, no flexibility. I start playing, all of a sudden they're able to reach their toes and put their hands on the floor. I'm like going, what is that? I go, quite honestly, this is kind of freaking me out. I think I'm going to go home and just pretend that this never happened. So I kind of went home, but here was really the gist in the conversation was that humanity, with all its wisdom, has dumped over 80,000 man-made chemicals in our air, food, and water. In addition, we've also surrounded ourselves with all kinds of things that we have become so reliant upon that make up a huge part of our lives. And what they're saying in this conversation is these things are inhibiting our energy. They're interrupting our connection to the field. They're causing stress. They're causing static. They're causing disharmony. And what we feel is that humanity will never reach its full potential until we can null and void all of that static and that noise in people's lives and enhance people's connection to the field, that quantum field of energy. We've heard many names for it. And I'm like kind of going, okay, never heard nothing like this, never heard anything quantum whatever. I go home, kind of pretended it never happened. And I get a call later, about 2 months later. And it's Dr. Jones. He says, wow, he goes, Mark. He goes, we've done some amazing studies on your music. I'm like going, okay, what's that all about? Because when your music plays in the environment, there's an instant increase in strength, flexibility, endurance, coordination, and balance. He said when an organism has enhanced its energy, it's going to have an increase in 5 physical factors. I'm like going, okay. He goes, then through brain mapping, he goes, when people listen to your music, it shifts the brain into a peak performance state that we had identified with athletes. He goes, through EEG brain mapping, we're able to determine this. I'm like going, okay. And he goes, and what's more beautiful, he goes, that when people are exposed to energy interrupters, their energy maintains the same. They maintain the benefits even when being exposed to the cell phones, to all the things in our environment that we know probably aren't the best to have us around us 24/7. And I'm like kind of going, okay, I don't understand a thing you're saying. He goes, and we want to buy 1,000 CDs from you and start selling them. I go, you know what, that I can relate to. I don't know about the whole energy and energy interrupters things, but I can definitely relate to that. And I go, you know, listen, it's one thing to come up here and talk about all this, but here's the beautiful thing, is that you can actually demonstrate this, which is really cool. So I need a test subject who would like to come up. Come on up here. Very good. Let's give her a hand for being brave. She has no idea what she's in for. Jana, how are you?
Good.
Are you in good physical health?
Pretty good.
Well-being? All right, we're going to see. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so they start doing these tests. You know, one of these things is that you can actually give people an experience of what's going on. Let's face it, what could open up for us if we could null and void all the noise and the static in our lives that science is now coming to prove is actually causing stress, preventing us from reaching our full potential, inhibiting our physical energy, and actually causing physical disharmony, preventing us from reaching higher levels of consciousness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple demonstrations. Are we good? Are you game? You want to see? Are you ready?